Yes, guys, welcome back to the Spurs-related podcast. And yeah, I know I'm smiling here, but honestly, that's what happens when you give Ronaldo the space to shoot. Whoever it was last week that said that he's finished, sit down. Like you don't doubt Ronaldo. Like we gave him the space to score a hat trick. That's just terrible, honestly. I mean, who here was surprised? The inconsistencies continue, but let's get in a few of the Spurs relatables in here. Yanami, once again, thank you for coming in, man. Come on, you headless chickens. Yep. Jimmy in here. Cannot wait to hear how everyone will try to defend Sun this time. Yeah, it's been an ongoing issue for me as well. Ever since he returned, he has not been the same. This happened to Reguilon last season. He just became a complete shadow of himself, and Sun seems to be doing the same thing here. He's slipping, not passing the ball. It's just really hard to watch. We got John Sue. Never write him off. Exactly. Those who wrote him off last week, sit down. Honestly, what a way to let a 37-year-old score a hat trick on us. That's just a new level. But it is CR7, and I believe he has now reached FIFA's #1 goal scorer of all time at 806 goals. Or no, 808 goals now. I wrote that down in my notes at 806, but I was so distracted by the game that I forgot to add those two. So it is 808 goals now. What a player, honestly. At the end of the day, as a footballing fan, you have to just pay respects to that guy. Honestly, at 37 years old, the just the talent he has, the work rate he has, you wouldn't even be able to tell that he's 37, honestly. Ayanami, we didn't mark Ronaldo for the first goal. Davies slowed himself down by putting his hand up for calling offside. And the third goal, we didn't even challenge for it. Exactly. And there's definitely things that we have to talk about here. Some things that I noticed, and I'm sure you guys will have noticed watching the game. A few players that are normally good that there's some criticisms there that need to be addressed. Mad Goat, exactly. It's Ronaldo, right? Anyone who doubted that he would not maybe show up in this game should really think about what they've been seeing as a footballing fan. It's Ronaldo, CR7. But let's continue on to the actual. Let's talk about the pros first. Kulusevski, once again, what a player. The way he was slicing through Sancho and many of those Manchester United players, top class. It's very unfortunate that he would pass it to Son, nothing. He'd pass it inside the box, no one's there. Definitely Conte's gonna have to go in there and tell them what happened. Where were you guys? And Son, why aren't you scoring these beautiful balls that Kulusevski's passing to you? The guy's literally cutting in through big players from Manchester United to get the ball to you, and you're not scoring. What do we got here? Yanami, 2 masterclass against us this season. Yeah. Dyer and Davies just left Reggie there. Like, what? That was another issue for me. Was it? I actually caught that in there. Slipping Davies, the nickname I've given him. Minute 41, he slipped and fell, and that almost cost us a goal, actually. I don't know what kind of shoes he has, but he needs to get some new ones. He keeps slipping. I don't know why. Doesn't seem to be happening to anybody else except Son today. Actually, he slipped too. I don't know if it was the grass, but definitely slipping Davies once again. Keep slipping, man. I really hope you stop though. And then let's talk about another weird moment in this game. Romero kicking the ball when it's in between Sancho's legs. Like, what are you doing, man? Like, I did not blame at all that Sancho was mad. I would be pretty mad if the ball is stuck in between my legs and some guy's kicking it up my crotch, just Romero once again doing some very interesting decisions, including losing Ronaldo. Like, he was marking him and then lost him in the box for that third goal. You could say, oh, Doherty was there at the end and he didn't jump, but Doherty was just covering for Romero because that was Romero's guy. I wouldn't think that the team would look at all of the squad and go, you know what, Doherty, you mark Ronaldo. No, it would make perfect sense that that was Romero's guy, and he lost him. Once again, that I think that happened in the Burnley game too. He lost his man, and we lost. And this is the same thing again. So Romero, man, get better at marking from set pieces, please. We cannot afford that anymore. But let's get back to the pros here. It's very easy to get into the cons when we've lost, but we have to put some positives in here too, right? We have the fact that I believe Harry Kane equaled Wayne Rooney's away goals at 64. So that's very good, man. Not surprised there. Again, Kane breaking records, but Spurs somehow still finding a way to spoil the moment. What else we got? He equaled Frank Lampard's goals for the Premier League record at 177. So that is also very awesome that he got that with that penalty. But again, that moment is spoiled because of this loss that we just took. And a very, very, out of all the losses, I think this is the biggest one so far because this is a team that's trying to go for top four. This was our moment to climb above them. And this was our moment to sort of detain one club from getting more points that would rival us in terms of these positions. And we've just given them a huge boost, especially because we already had games in hand. But what's the point of having games in hand if you're not going to take them and get the points that you need? Yeah, I mean, I really don't have any other points here in terms of pros. I didn't really see too much. Ayanami here saying, I was furious with Pogba fouling our players not getting punished, standing on Kane's foot near the end. Yeah, the inconsistencies today with the referee was a little ridiculous, which actually that brings me to my first huge point here, our penalty. You could say all you want. I think, it was a penalty, but the first penalty that was never given to Manchester United, I think it was. You could say, oh, he was close, so it probably wasn't. But the fact that those exact same scenarios happened later on and it gave us the penalty, that to me is kind of confusing. I'm not sure exactly what the rules are now. They keep changing this handball rule, and it keeps screwing teams over because they don't know what exactly consists of a handball here. You have Dyer, his hand is in an unnatural position. It's behind him. It might actually go into the net or cross into someone, and it's not considered a penalty because of how close it was and because he didn't mean to have his hand there. But then you think about the penalty we got where the hand was in front of him, and it was the same scenario. It was close. The hand was in front of him. He didn't mean to hit it, but it was given to us. So, it's those kinds of things that really I addressed them just because it went in our favor this time, but then in another game it might not. And I can't imagine how everyone's going to feel when it happens against us, And at the end of the day, Manchester United, I'm pretty sure many of the fans were furious with that decision. Luckily, Ronaldo came in and made this game his own. It was the Ronaldo show today. No matter how many times we lose, I do not want Conte to change the system. These losses seriously send a message. Yes, exactly. And again, it really is just that issue where we are lacking depth, so we don't have options to really switch whatever it is that's not working, right? As soon as I saw Winks come on, I was like, it's over. It's over. We're not getting anywhere if we're bringing Winks on and taking Bentancur off. Hey, Mr. K, good to see you. I hope that you're doing well after this loss. Unfortunately, a lot of people were hoping that we could take the reins and win, but like I was saying last week, it seems like we love doing win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. I don't know why. It's the most inconsistent I've ever seen in Tottenham. At least we're not going on a losing streak, knock on wood, but it is very frustrating to see. Leo Balls, to me, Dyer's hand was in a natural position, but I don't know 100%. Well, it was behind him. It wasn't at his body, right? It was extended out of his body. So to me, it didn't really look like it was in a natural position. But that's the issue here, is that the handball rule keeps changing so much almost every season, that people are unclear as to what exactly is a natural position. So I really hope that they start putting some consistency on that, because we don't want this issue to come and bite us later. Elvis, wow, this is a big comment. We will keep on performing like this until when? This is heartbreaking. Romero, what is wrong with you? Larice, you're watching a movie. Sonny, what's wrong with your legs? So this is how it's going to be like. We will win, then lose, then win, then lose until when? When are we going to enjoy football as fans? Please, we are tired of your performances. Try something different, please. Yeah, inconsistency. That is, I think, the huge theme. If you had to sum it up in one word, inconsistent. This whole season has just been inconsistencies after inconsistencies. We make one win, it's amazing, then we go and we lose. And we lose no matter what team it is, whether it's Middlesbrough, whether it's Burnley, and we'll win no matter what team it is, whether it's Man City, or just a smaller team. We'll destroy Everton, then we'll lose to Manchester United. We'll win a very, very amazing game against Manchester City, and then we'll go and lose against Burnley. So, yeah, inconsistencies. That's the biggest thing if you really wanted to summarize it in just one word. Yeah, well, thank you for coming in here and putting that in the chat. But you know what? Like I said, I'm a footballing fan as well as a Spurs fan, so I can respect the fact that Ronaldo at 37 is scoring worldy goals, like especially like that first one. I couldn't even be upset. That as a footballing fan, it's great to see that a guy at 37 years old is still proving people, all those doubters, wrong. Mr. K, ref was soft. Conte showed we had lost by putting Wink. It's not yet. Well, yeah, exactly. I when I saw Winks come on, I realized that we were done. There was nothing else to really do after that, and Winks did exactly what I thought he would do: just pass back, pass to the side, have some horrible first touches, get intercepted. At least he's consistent in that way, right? I know. I mean, we're only somewhat consistent at home, therefore we are vulnerable away. And for God's sake, we have to go to Anfield. Yeah, that's going to be a really hard one to watch, especially if we take the L. At this rate, fair play to Arsenal, as much as I hate to say it. They've been consistent, which is something we don't have. We've been saying it for months that if we want top four, we need consistency, and we don't have it. We'll win against a big team, but what's the point of doing all of that work if we undo it immediately by losing to whatever other team comes after, whether it's the ones in the relegation zone or not? Let's see. We are consistent. I don't think so. I'm sure you mean inconsistent. Yeah, we're being consistent at being inconsistent. Fair enough. So I love him either way. Yeah, exactly. As a footballing fan, you just have to respect the fact that he's still pulling off hot tricks in the Premier League. Clear off Messi. Well, I feel like the thing with Messi is he's being played in a system that might not fit him. So that just might be the issue. We'll see what happens, right? It took Ronaldo a few months to get used to Juventus, and then he started banging in the goals again. So we'll see what happens with Messi. Obviously, for some reason, the bottling that happens in the Champions League has not escaped him. Roma, Barcelona, Liverpool, and Bayern, and now Real Madrid haunting him in a different team. It's very unfortunate to see. But Messi, I hope that you keep your chin up, go win that French Cup, the trophy, and I don't know what you do from there, honestly, because Mbappe will be gone. Sucks for PSG, I guess. But anyways, moving on from them. Wasn't you watching the MU agenda watch long? I was there at Sam. Pessy. All right. 5 goals. I think it was a decent showing, to be honest. Yeah, it was a 5-goal thriller, which actually, if you really think about it, we didn't really do much to get those goals. One was a penalty, which again, was kind of iffy because of how inconsistent it was compared to the penalty that Manchester United could have possibly had, and then an own goal. So really, did we honestly score a goal off of just regular play? No, we didn't. It could have easily just been 3-0 if those didn't go our way. And who knows, maybe if we didn't even have those goals, it could have been worse because Manchester United wouldn't have been sort of sitting back because of the fact that we were catching up to them or tying them. Ayanami here saying Arsenal spent almost double the amount of money we spent in the summer. All of their signings have been top class. And how many of our summer signings are in the starting 11? Yeah, but again, and I think I explained this to James before too when he was giving me some slack for it. Emerson, for example, he was brought in for a system that had 4 in the back, not for a system with 5 in the back. So there are some players that unfortunately are decent enough in general, but not for the system we're using. If we are going to commit to Conte, then we need to get rid of those players, even if they're decent. The only reason we would keep these players is if we sack the manager and then bring in another one, hoping that he does something with them. But we're done doing that. And I hope that Levy isn't sitting there thinking that it's time for Conte to go or anything. Conte did come in yesterday saying that he's going to complete his contract that he has with us. And as long as we are backing him, he will try his best. And I'm not surprised that he would say something like that because it's Conte. He's a man who sees a sinking ship when he sees one, he'll leave. And if he hasn't left, it's because he knows that we have the capabilities of being a super good team. We're just inconsistent, and that's just sort of how it's going to be until the end of the season. And I hope that everyone here and other Spurs fans around the world realize that we're just going to have a very inconsistent rest of the season because of the players that we have, the lack of depth that we have. The second that there is a injury, the players that are coming in are not good enough. So, let's ride the storm, and then next season will hopefully be a better one. The last balls were very poor. Yeah, exactly. Even Kane, but he was tired. He was running. It's very unfortunate that we have to sit there and hope that a good play is done in the last second of the game, when in reality, if we all tried to run 90 minutes against Ronaldo, we would be exhausted before the 90 minutes even kicked in. So, I'm not even going to be that upset about that. We should have been doing more throughout the game rather than hoping for something crazy like the Leicester game or the Man City game. We can't be relying on a last minute goal every game. That's not how this works. Marcelino in here. Good to see you, man. Not that disappointed. We really, I was expecting 3-0 or 4-0 thrashing today. We're just so inconsistent. Now that we lost, we're probably going to win our next game. Exactly. That's the Tottenham way right now. That's all we've been doing. Win, loss, win, loss. So whoever we face next, we'll probably beat them. Then we'll go to the next game and lose. So if anything, plan out what games we're going to is the win that we're going to get, and just go to that one if you're planning on going one. And if we win a game, don't go to the next one because we're probably going to lose it. Are there more doors or wheels? Oh, a lot of my friends have been asking me this one. I'm going to say doors. There are many places where there are no wheels, but there are many doors. So that's just I'm team doors on this one. Miles Houston here. Emerson has always been mid. Barca couldn't believe we paid that much. Yeah, well, I mean, it's like, look at us. We can't believe that we're able to get up to 40 million for Dele Alli, and I still am shocked that Lyon have gone ahead with a deal that could possibly take Ndombele back, and we'd get a lot of our money back. I really thought that we were going to get almost no money for him. So you'd be surprised how much a player, like how much a club is willing to pay for a player that is going to fit their system, right? Bentancur was not very highly rated at Juventus by the time he left either. I saw a lot of comments on a lot of different videos of Juventus fans saying that good, he's leaving, and he's been amazing for us. But that's just because he fits the system. There's more to it than just the talent of a player. There's effort, there's talent, and there's the system itself. Wheels. Okay, well, you know what? it's been a very interesting. I don't even know how this first started, but yeah, I'm Team Doris, and a lot of people giving me slack for that. But it is what it is. Agreed. Every time we equalized, we just sat like we were winning. It wasn't enough. We wasted way too many chances. Every time we scored because especially that second one, we didn't even score. We didn't really do much with it afterwards. We just kind of let Manchester United come back. And the marking on Ronaldo, oh my God. To say marking on Ronaldo, that would be lying to me, to be honest, because we didn't really mark him at all. A lot of his goals were when he was unmarked, whether it was from the corner kick, whether it was the first goal, which, to be fair, I'm not going to blame anyone for that because no one's expecting him to score from that far. But that second goal, same thing, just unmarked. Both Dyer and Davies not knowing which one is in control of keeping up beside him and just allowing him the free reign. And if you're gonna allow anyone to not have even a half chance, it's Ronaldo. If Kane can do it, Ronaldo can do it too. So it's just very. I don't understand why they would just allow him to get those chances. To be honest, it's good to hear your calm voice after defeat like today. Yeah, well, unlike James, I'm not. I'm not that. I don't like getting super angry. Tottenham is not going to ruin my weekend like that. I also support Toronto FC, and if you watched their record last season, you would understand why. To me, this is okay. We were terrible, but yeah, I think calmness is the best way to go about it. I think thinking on positives, as well as negatives, is the best way to go because we weren't completely terrible today. I think passing in general was good. I just think that we were very wasteful up top. And I think that Manchester United were just very prepared to cover Son and Kane, let alone a Son who wasn't very up to par as he normally is. He slipped, he was falling, he wasn't passing the ball when he had to, he was missing some chances. Yeah, I don't know what's happened to that guy, but I really, really hope that he picks it up because we cannot. It's very unfair to sort of just have one player do all the work here. Kane has just he's just come back with a vengeance, and it's really annoying to see that he does that, and then Son is all of a sudden not on form. How good would we be if we had Son from the beginning of the season and Kane now? With the mix of Kulusevski and the way he plays and cuts through everybody, we would be unstoppable. But the fact that when you have a Son who isn't performing very well, gets subbed off, and it's Bergwijn that's coming on or Moura that's coming on, who honestly, again, and I'm going to keep saying this, they are not consistent players. That's not good enough, and we're not going to the fact that we have to sort of just hope that Bergwijn maybe pulls something off out of his ass or something. That's not the way to go. It should have been Kane on that free kick instead of Dyer in the first half. No, I do not agree with that at all. If you see the most recent free kicks Kane has done, he hits that straight into the wall. I think Dyer probably has had better chances than Kane, to be honest. There was that Crystal Palace one that should have gone in. It's just that for some reason Crystal Palace's goalkeeper decided to become some world-class goalkeeper for 90 minutes. Favely, wait, you're Canadian? Yes, I am. It's currently actually kind of bright out here today. Lots of snow, but I'm not going to weather forecast it for you. But yeah, it's really cold outside. So when a really amazing goal is scoring and I want to run around and just freak out, I'm not going to go outside. It's too cold. Son was poor today, but he did put in a good cross, but Kane had to come off for it. If Kane was on, we'd probably have scored there. Yeah, it's true. It's unfortunate that once you don't have Kane there, nothing's really happening. And Bentancur today too, I got to say, I don't know what was going on with him, but he was getting dispossessed left and right. He fixed his play a little later, but at the beginning there, much to be desired here. Kane is ass at free kicks. Dyer is a good free kick taker. Yes. And by good free taker, Miles, I hope you do mean that it's the best we have right now. He's not a good free kick taker. He's just the best we got. Kane is worse. Favely Kate. Oh, wait, I just did that one. Sorry, I meant to click this. I live in the U.S. Nice, man. So I guess it's like around 3-ish or something. Are you on the West Coast? Maybe a little earlier. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure it would be much more depressing having this loss happen in your evening. You're just thinking about it. The sun's gone. You don't have the rest of the day to sort of just shake it off. Fred's assist was, yeah, it's true. Fred put in a performance today, and I gotta say, I'm usually a big criticizer of that guy. I don't really think he's very decent in general. Very inconsistent, but you know, our players, I guess, are just more inconsistent and allowed Fred to look like world class today. Ayanami, most of our team is made up of the bare minimum for professional footballers. I would say so to a point. I just think that I think I talked about this last week too, that there's effort and there's talent. And for example, Winks, I do believe he puts in as much effort as possible. This is his home club, but there's also talent, and I don't think Winks really reaches the talent that we need. So unfortunately, he's a player for me that needs to go. He can give his effort at a different team that requires less from him, and he'll probably shine there. And I really think it would help him as a footballer in general. And just overall, I think being confident enough to play in just a smaller team where he can really be one of the players that when he comes on, everyone's like, whoa, he's coming on, he's going to do great for us. That's, I can only hope that he, finds success somewhere that isn't us, because it's just not working out. West Coast. Okay, so it's probably 12-17 over there, if I'm correct. So you got the rest of the day to shake off that loss. So good on you, man. The level between Bentancur and Winks is insane. Yes, exactly. As soon as Bentancur came off and Winks came on, any chance we had of scoring was gone for me, because we went back to the whole criticism I always have, that the minute that Winks is on with Højbjerg, there is no creativity whatsoever. It's like having a huge just wall, but like a wall that doesn't allow the ball to cross through. You have to like kick it over the wall, if you can sort of picture that. To me, that's sort of what happens when it's those two on there. And it's not to criticize Højbjerg, because Højbjerg has his job. His job is to be that extra wall, that extra man at the back in case anyone pushes up, and to just pass the ball either to the side or to Bentancur, or do some creative things, which he can do. And then it's usually Bentancur that moves forward with the ball and passes it over to Kulu or crosses it over. That's his position. That's his job. But Winks doesn't really do that. He just gets really nervous, and he's got just a few tricks up his sleeve, which doesn't work for us. Bentancur is also obviously a CDM naturally. So when he needs to fall back, he can, and he'll do a good job. So sorry, Winks. It's currently 12 for me. Yeah, 12-18. Yeah, it's good, man. It's good. Hopefully you'll have a great rest of the day, and you'll have time to sort of just shake that off, because, if we lost today, that means that the next game is probably going to be a win. Knock on wood. Bentancur does the little things so well, complete opposite with Winks. Exactly. And those details are very important when it comes to a player, right? He is very good at those passes that you wouldn't even think were going to get to the player, and he just gets it to them. And when he comes back, it's the same thing. He'll just find the right tackle, the right positioning. He'll direct other players behind him to get in certain spots. He's able to guess where, what kind of play that is going to happen. And it's those little details like that that allow sort of the game to flow better. Very close game. Both teams were very poor defensively, but on the match game preview, my score prediction was correct. Oh, so you guessed 3-2 for Manchester United. Well, good on you, man. But I'm sure you feel the same way I do, where when I'm sort of predicting something against Spurs, the most that I want here is to get proven wrong. I want Tottenham to prove me wrong and be like, you know what? Stop doubting us. Here's a win. But that wasn't the case today. And I will say, I don't 100% agree that it was the closest of games, because, again, when you really think about it, we did not have any goals from regular play. We had a penalty, a very shocking penalty that was very inconsistent compared to the one that did not go Manchester United's way, and an own goal from the class Harry Maguire himself, the masterclass defender, which once again, Manchester United, man, I feel so bad for them. They paid a lot of money for that guy, and he's scoring goals, but for the wrong team. What do we got here? The fact Conte is worried about Skip is really not a good sign. We need to see him link with Bentancur. Yeah, and it's very unfortunate that Skip is absent. He's done so well this season. I really do hope he comes back soon. But we do have to be a team that if how old is he now? Like 22 or something? Here, I'll check right now. If a 21-year-old player is not able to come on, we're not going to all of a sudden be in just utter shambles here that we have no depth. So it really speaks a lot, But that's not to say that Skip is not to underplay Skip here, because he has been very, very good. Lots to learn still, but very good. Still don't think top four is over for you, as if you win your 2 games in hand over us, you will go above us. Yeah, it's true. I don't think top four is over either, but we just keep shooting ourselves in the foot constantly. And it's really, I've gotten used to it over the years that every time that we are just this close from reaching a goal that we've set ourselves, we just mess it up. The bottling continues, right? Stop that handball menu was clear. Yeah. Wait, so are you saying that handball on Dyer was in a natural position? Okay, well, I mean, we can have a difference of opinion here, right? That's what the discussion is for. I do think that his hand was like behind him completely, but there could be there could be like a small little exception there for maybe because it was behind him rather than with Telles where it was in front of him, right? That probably is the case here. That's the only difference from the 2 different handballs, right? No wonder Skip is injured for a while. He's a very young player being worked to the bone since the very start. Exactly. And that's another issue that we had where at the beginning of the season, the players that we got rid of during the winter transfer window, they were so bad that we were playing Skip consistently over these guys. Players that were being paid in the 6 digits per week were not being used in favor of Skip. Now, not underplaying his talent here, but that just explained a lot over how we really just needed an overhaul. So it's fine that that we got rid of who we did. I know a few people have been saying we should have kept at least one, but it wasn't good for the morale either. We were losing and losing and losing. And then, we're inconsistent now, but you can't lie that when we do win, it's some really good wins. You'll have a Manchester City game, the 3-2 craziness. You have the destruction of Leeds, the destruction of Everton. They're really good games. It's just unfortunate that we're inconsistent, but we just have to ride the storm until the end of the season. No matter where we finish, we just have to keep backing Conte and back the players that he thinks are good enough to be on the team. Okay, so Doherty, for example, I'm not saying that he's going to be our first team player, but I have really advocated for the fact that Emerson should go and he should stay because he's a right wing back naturally, and he's going to fit his system over Emerson. We're going to get more money for Emerson over Doherty. So it just makes the most sense. Sometimes you have to take that risk. And, he has been stepping up. So good for him, honestly. We get hyped for winning, then we lose the match after. Exactly. That's literally all it is every single game. I'm getting used to it, though. I'm not feeling that heartbreak like usual. I'm noticing the pattern here. No top four. Top four is over. In my eyes, Arsenal have 2 games in hand over us. We won't come close, but I'd love to be wrong. Well, you never know. It's not over until it's over, as most people know. So we'll see. For all you know, Arsenal all of a sudden go on this losing streak and we catch up. I don't see that really happening, but if it does, then that'd be cool. But for now, I don't think top 4 is over completely, but we'll just keep shooting ourselves in the foot, I'm pretty sure. So whatever. At the moment, we only have wings to cover for Højbjerg and Bentancur. He should really move on in the summer. I think so as well. You should allow a younger player to come in if we need homegrowns. You have, I believe, is Harvey White a CDM? Correct me if I'm wrong here. He's a midfielder that should probably be getting some chances here. It's unfortunate that he couldn't, that he couldn't be loaned out. There were a few championship teams that wanted him, and he stayed because we needed the depth, but we're not even using him. So I think it would have been better if we just loaned him, and if we needed to really bring him back for an emergency, we just paid whatever we needed to pay to sort of bring him in from his loan. Because at the moment he's just sitting there when he should be getting experience. How nice would it be that we'd be getting him in for some experience? Oh, and then don't forget we are also bringing in Sar, right, who's on loan right now at Metz, but he is our Tottenham player. So hopefully he makes his mark and he'll do well for us. Doesn't piss me off anymore. Yeah, I'm getting used to it now. So that calmness in my voice is more of just I've become indifferent to these losses because I expect them so much now. I'm the only one who wants the Celso back. It just adds depth, and he still levels above Winks. But he doesn't do much. He doesn't really fit the system. Where's he going to play? He's not really a center attacking. He doesn't. That Kulu position isn't really his place, and those CDM positions, he's just going to leave it wide open. So no, I at least for me, I don't think he would be good coming in. White needs a shot in. Being said this for a while. Yeah, he does deserve a shot, but once again, this needs to happen when we're destroying someone. When we were destroying Everton, why did we not bring him in? That would have been the perfect time to allow him to play. We had this exact same discussion a few podcasts ago with James, where I was saying that we need to stop bringing in these players when we're in losing positions. You should be playing them when we're winning. The Everton game, the Leeds game, those are games where you can bring in that player and allow him to get his chance, feel how the players are playing, sort of mesh with them, and sort of just not fall under so much pressure because we're losing. If anything, it's like, okay, if I make a mistake, maybe a goal gets scored, but we're winning by like 5 goals, so it's okay. Ayanami, I think we need to get the thought of top 4 off our mind, play these games with a clear mind. The thought of losing top 4 can be a negative thing. Yeah, and I haven't really been thinking that way either anymore. And I hope that those Tottenham players are doing the same thing. You just got to take it one game at a time. The mentality of that team is very fragile. As soon as the top 4 comes in and there's that pressure that if we win, we'll go above this team and then we'll be this close to top 4, we lose. So I really do think you're right, Ayanami. We need to start just taking it one game at a time and just stop thinking about the table now. Especially because honestly, top 4, we are at the mercy of Arsenal dropping about 3 different games, just losing them. And that's going to be very hard because not only do they need to lose them, but we need to find consistency, which we haven't found all season. Sarr's not a regular starter for Mets anymore. He's benching these days. Well, how much is it that he's being benched because he's not really a Mets player anymore? Because to be honest, if I was the Mets coach and he wasn't really my player anymore, why would I bother spending all that time sort of developing a player that isn't going to be with us anymore in the next season? I would rather just give other players a chance. But I really do hope that it's not because of bad form or anything. Ayanami says, Mark Kendi needed more chances as well. The only time he really came on was when we were losing to Vitesse. Bringing on a youngster in a losing situation can really pressure them and make them mistake prone. Exactly. I don't know why it's that difficult to understand for some of these coaches. And I know that Conte usually likes to play his regular people, but for example, Winks is a player that I'm okay if he just doesn't play for the rest of the season. There's no need to develop him because I personally think it's time for him to go. And I'm sure many of you think the same. So why would you give a chance to Winks? Why would you bring him on to give him more minutes when you can bring on White, who, to be honest, deserves a shot, especially from winning positions against Everton and stuff, and allow a Højbjerg or Bentancur to sort of just rest. Without that pressure of needing to score a goal, it just allows them to flow seamlessly into the game. But let's move on from those things and talk about the fact that Kane has broken more records, yet somehow we're still losing. It's very unfortunate, but Harry Kane, man, what a player. And from what I heard, it's very dependent on I guess him getting a new contract, from what I heard, will depend very much so on Conte's position. So whether or not he decides to make his own decision in the summer, that's still up for debate. But I really do think that if Conte goes, Kane goes. I think this is the last straw for Kane. He really will he will only do this and stay with us because it's Conte's time, right? And I think he has done more than enough for us, and I think that this here is just Kane being super loyal to us, even though he really did want to go. He's respecting the fact that Spurs want to keep him, and he's doing this for the fans. So I gotta respect him for that, and I gotta respect the fact that he's like, yeah, okay, well, I'm gonna be realistic here. I love the fans, but you need to show me a project that's worth staying, because I'm also I'm my own player, right? So the fact that Levy has presented him this Conte project, don't mess it up, Levy, please. Such a world-class player with no team achievements to show for it. Yeah, it's very unfortunate, but hopefully that will change next season. Because again, Conte will go if he sees a sinking ship. Top and bottom three for you today. Okay, let's talk about that. Top players for me, of course, Harry Kane. What a player. I just talked about him, so we'll just leave it at that. Harry Kane, of course. And of course, you guys, if you have some top threes that you want to put in the chat, by all means. But to me, yeah, Kane was top class. I would say Kulusevski. He was very, very good today as well. Very unfortunate that, once again, he's a player who likes to set up other players, and no one was really there to sort of show for it. So all of his work sort of goes under the radar. But I'm going to point it out here in this podcast that guy was very good, especially today as well, cutting through players like Sancho and Telles, just making them just sit down. So it's good to see that consistency finally from a player on the right side, which we have not had for, as far as I can remember now, for a very long time. Lamel was not consistent for me. Moura is not consistent. Bergwijn's not consistent. So yeah, no, very good, Kulu. So that's my number 2 guy. And my third one, I'm going to have to go with Reguilon. He was very good on that left side. It's just very unfortunate, again, that he was just sort of left on his own there. Not much was really happening for him to do anything, but he was very, very decent today. Put in a good performance, speedy performance the entire time he was on. So good on him. Great work. And, I just hope that he gets more credit and more players link up with him. My bottom 3, I would have to say, honestly, Heung-min Son, he reaches my bottom 3 once again. I'm very, very concerned with how he's been these past few games. It's not the type of player that I'm used to seeing. And I'm sure most of you are also very disappointed in the choices he's making here, just not passing it when there's a very easy chance. Sort of getting nervous at in front of the net there, and then just messing it up, or just skying it. So to me, he makes bottom 3 not because he was the worst player on the pitch, but because I expect more from him. They always say it's like when you raise the bar high, the pressure is higher for you because this is where we expect you to play. But that's for everybody. And no matter what you do in life, if you raise the bar for yourself this high, this is where you measure yourself. You don't measure yourself down here anymore. And just like Ronaldo, right? He is world class. So he gets from up here, he gets judged. The minute that he starts to sort of not score goals per game, he starts getting judged. And, and a hat trick is what we expect to see from him. So, now everyone's back on his side again. So, Son, please, I don't know what's going on, but I really hope that you're going to sort of find your way again. We really need you. Let's see. Next player to me who was not sort of playing up to par. I'm going to have to go. See, this is a tough one because everyone was kind of mediocre today. It wasn't that anyone was super, super horrible. You know what? I'm going to go with Davies. I think that there were many chances where he just wasn't really living up to the par defensively. Yes, he scored a goal. It was offside. But guess what? That's not his job. So yeah, he scored a goal, but what about the defense? He was just leaving Ronaldo, just allowing him to run, just not communicating with the rest of the team, pushing up and leaving Dyer by himself to deal with Ronaldo as well. I don't know what's up with that. Like, you got to have two guys on there, and I think that Davies wasn't fully doing his job correctly. And my third pick has got to be, I'm going to go with Romero, to be honest. I think that he had some really, really interesting decisions, kicking Sancho on the crotch almost, a ball being the thing stopping them from stopping him from getting a red card for violent from a violent misconduct, and losing his man against Ronaldo as well in the box, causing a goal. Yeah, it's been consistent now that I'm seeing this guy making some interesting decisions. In the Everton game too, where he got booked for completely swiping Richarlison in the way that he did, he needs to really figure that stuff out, man. All right, Ayanami here, top, Højbjerg, Kulu and Kane, bottom, Davies, Bentancur, and Reggie. Okay, so you don't think Reguilon played that well. I personally think that he was pretty decent, but Højbjerg, yeah, he was good too. He was making some slide tackles, passing into players, linking with Kulu and Kane, and linking with the defense, falling back. Very good work. He is a machine, 100%. And personally, to me, no matter what criticisms are made, he is a machine, but he is also human. So he will have games where he's not at his best, but he is so crucial to this team. It's just that the midfielder beside him needs to be different. It needs to be creative. We can't have two Højbjergs on there. One is good. The other one needs to be a completely different type of center defensive midfielder. Leo Ball here says Kane, Reggie, Kulu was top. Davies, Son, Romero. As much as I hate to put Son and Romero there, I have to. Exactly. And actually, that's exactly what I said. So there we go. Look at that. We're thinking exactly alike here. Yeah, it pains me to put Son in there and Romero as well. But when you're a good player, you're going to be judged from a higher standard. And when you don't meet that standard, that's why he makes my bottom three, both of them. I really do hope they play better in the next games and that Son finds his form again, because the Son that we're seeing now is a shadow of himself. What about Maguire? Yeah, you could almost say that Maguire could reach our top three there. I'm sure if I had a top five, he might make it in there, because yeah, what a legend for Tottenham today, helping us there. But once again, we failed to take advantage of that, and we just allowed Ronaldo, a 37-year-old, to get a hat trick against us. A Ronaldo who was being criticized for not being in form. A Ronaldo who was not in the previous match, and there was this huge uproar that he went to Portugal and that he didn't want to play, or that he was going to be benched, so he left. But seriously, those Man United coaches, if they ever think that Ronaldo is the reason they're not playing well, they need to go and get a new job. Let's see what else we got here. Son can be one of the best wingers in the globe, but when he plays bad, he is horrendous. Yes. And look, I am a huge fan of Son, and a lot of teams are a huge fan of Son. Arsenal fans can respect Son as well. I know a few Arsenal fans, and even they love Son, because when you see class, you just got to respect it as a footballing fan, and it's just very unfortunate the way that Son is playing right now. But we move on from that. I don't want to keep talking bad about Son, as sad as it is. We have the exact same, so there's something to be said. Exactly. Some consistency finally for Spurs in the Spurs-related podcast, to be fair. Ayanami, some of these players need tough love to improve and go forward. That's the thing. I really do think it's just the issue that we don't have depth, and when something's not working and we're being exposed, we don't have any plan B. Manchester, you can't go from every game playing the exact same. This isn't FIFA career mode where the computer is just going to play the way they do and you can play the way you do and it's fine. They're going to exploit your weaknesses based on what they see. And if we played a certain way against Everton and Manchester United sees that, and then they go in prepared for that because they know we don't have a plan B, we're going to be exposed. And the difference here is we played a high line, an Everton that was playing a high line, which personally, I don't know why Lampard did that. I think he forgot that he doesn't have Chelsea defenders anymore, and we exposed them. But you go to Manchester United, they can play a high line because they have Ronaldo, they have Sancho, they have Rashford. They have players who can actually score the majority of the times that they get the chance. So, yeah, I think next season we need to bring in depth to allow different sort of tactical changes that doesn't look like we just completely got rid of something crucial, right? Because when we do a tactical change, that usually means we bring on Winks, and we all know what happens when he does that. For me, Højbjerg is top CDM. The guy has an engine which can last for days. Exactly. I agree. I think that he is an engine. He's a machine, but he's human. So he will have some games where he's off his mark. And it really just depends on who's beside him as well. Because when you have, he's not the guy who's going to bring the ball and dribble past some people and pass it like through 5 players. He's going to be the guy who stays back, plays defensively, plays as a defender at some points when another defender has gone up, and who links up the play in the bottom part of the team and then pushes it up slightly. It's the other player's job to get up there. But when you have a Winks who's beside him, who can't really be trusted to be defensive and can't really do much when he goes up, Højbjerg doesn't know what to do, because if he stays back, the ball doesn't go forward. And if he goes forward and the ball gets lost, there's no one to be back and defend. So that my issue there is you just got to find another Bentancur to bring in, and you got to bring another Højbjerg in so that you can rotate the two of them. I hope the Maguire to Spurs rumors are false. Oh, 100% it's false. If Tottenham brings in Maguire, just, oh my God, just Levy, just go home. Do not bring in Maguire. Do not bring in, I swear to God, Levy, if you bring in Maguire, oh, no, that's not happening. Don't worry. Please don't scare me like that. Sven Botman won't even want to come to us. AC Milan are really interested, and he'd want to go to a first-place team instead of a 6th, 7th-place team. Yeah, that is another thing. If we don't make top 4, it's very difficult to bring in world-class players. But again, this is a rebuild one step at a time. I think we need to think about players that positions that need to be filled that are in dire need, right? We do need to bring another center back. And if it's not going to be Botman, it'll be someone. Look, if Newcastle was able to bring Guimaraes in, I'm sure we can find a defender that is willing to come in and work on this project. But the only way that player is going to do it is if they are sure that Spurs are 100% into this Conte project, right? Guimaraes, Newcastle was in the relegation zone when they signed the players they did, and look how they're doing now. And the reason they came in is because they trusted that this project was going to be done. They're not going to give up halfway. So if Levy's going to go full on Conte projects, we're backing you. Every season is going to be great, and we're going to be improving so well that Conte's going to want to sign an extension, then that's fine. I'm sure we'll be able to bring in a Botman type player, because he knows that every transfer window, we're going to continue to sign players and continue to get better. But if we don't show that we're willing to do that, of course, we're not going to. Why would a player sign for a sinking ship? As well as Conte, he would not stay if he sees a sinking ship. He'll leave. Rudiger. See, look, he's gotten much better, but I've never been the biggest fan of him. I think Tuchel, he plays in a system that fits him. I don't know if he fits for a 3 at the back. But, what do I know? It's up to Conte at that point, right? I don't think Levy is going to sit there and tell him what to do anymore in terms of what players to bring in, because that's why he has Paratici, right? He brought him in because it's Paratici and Conte who make these decisions, and Levy goes like, all right, well, I don't know if I'm willing to pay that much, but who do you have on your list that fits this amount of money? They're like, oh, well, we got these 3. Okay, let me go and talk, and I'll get you one of those 3. That's sort of the difference between now and before. Before, we were bringing in players that were like, oh, okay, but Bentancur, Kulusevski, these are players that were on that list that I've been hearing about so much. Even if they might have not been the number one, the fact that they might not have been number one, but they're on Conte's list, they're going to work for Conte. So let's just keep going at that. Yanami says 1 striker, 2 midfielders, 3 defenders, 1 goalkeeper. That is a lot of players to bring in. I don't know if we're going to sign that many. I would say you bring in an extra striker, a midfielder, at least 1. I would say bring in at least 1 good defender. And yeah, we're going to have to find another goalkeeper because I don't think Golini is going to be that backup. And Lloris will be 100% nervous if he's nearing the end of his final contract and there's no one that's going to replace him. So that's definitely something to think about. But I do think you're correct on the positions. I think every position we need to bring someone in. But we also have to be smart about the players we sell, right? The right wing back position, I think, is very important. I think if you sell Emerson and you get some money, you can use that plus whatever amount you were going to use in general and sign a very good right wing back. Sign yourself a good defender in terms of a center back. I think the left wing back position is fine. Reguilon and Sessegnon both rivaling each other for that position. I think that Sanchez, I think it's time to go. I would keep Davies over Sanchez because I think that Conte trusts Davies more clearly. And the midfield wise, we just need to bring in someone that can rotate, especially Højbjerg, to be honest, because when Bentancur's gone, if Skip's healthy, then cool. But when Højbjerg's gone, then who's there? So we need to bring an extra midfielder to be able to rotate, and then Harvey White hopefully can be brought in and can during the sort of the easier games or when we're in winning positions. And we'll also see how Sarr does. So don't forget we have him on loan. That's going to be coming in. And then who else? In the top, yeah, we need a backup striker. We need someone that can maybe not rival Kane because, it's Kane, but someone that can come in for him because that, if you don't allow Kane to rest a few times, we're going to go back to Kane from a few seasons ago where every season he was out for 3 months. And I know no one wants that. Christensen has completely left the idea of joining another PL team out of the question. Respect to Chelsea, I can imagine. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Christensen's basically going to go to Barcelona. And the way that Chelsea's their situation right now probably doesn't help them at all. You reckon Ginter would be interested in joining us? Could be the case. It really depends how we end the season and what we have to offer and what Levy decides to do and how confident he makes the players who might join us feel that we are all in on this Conte project and that Conte feels that backup as well. Because if he does that, then yeah, of course. Look how long it took Klopp to win Liverpool a trophy, but it was a process. And we have to realize that this is a process. The only reason most of us are just very annoyed is because it took this long to finally jump in feet first into a project. I really do think that Levy has made that change since the summer. The summer, but he was still being iffy, right? Like he if he had signed Conte from the get-go, I don't think we'd be the position that we're in right now. But we'll see what happens in the summer. Will there be an even bigger lack of investment if the club is for sale? That's a concern. Yeah, it could be, but that's just I think that's a conversation for another video with James as well. DCL, who's Dominic Calvert-Lewin from Everton? Is that who you mean? He's been a little inconsistent lately, but you know what? I think he'd be pretty decent. I don't know if he would fit the system, but would it be worth it bringing in that type of player for I'm sure it will be a good amount of money that we'll have to pay him for him to sort of just be on the bench and wait for opportunities to play. I don't know if he'd want to come to our team. I wanted Weghorst, but he left to Burnley. Yeah. I have a friend of mine who actually also was very annoyed that we didn't get him because me and him both saw the sort of that sort of potential that he is not going to be the number one player, but he will put in the work. And what a guy he's been for Burnley, man. I'm rooting for Burnley to not get relegated because Weghorst, honestly, is just next level. He's changed that club. And yeah, they've sort of started losing again, but we'll see. I think right now, Everton and Leeds are trying to sort of they're trying to really help Burnley out as far as I'm concerned, because those guys, man, what a mess. And there's players who've just joined them, Dele Alli, um, and it's just very, very sad to see what's happening with those clubs at the moment. I'm pretty sure Everton has never been relegated, so that would be monumental if that happened to them. But I personally think it's going to be Leeds that's going to be the third team that gets relegated here. With players like Lloris and Kane, they can mentor young players. This type of opportunity could be attractive to some players, and we have to take advantage of that. Exactly, and that is why we need to bring in players now. In the summer, we need to start bringing them in, and supposedly not the youngest of players either. Hopefully, players who are just on the brink of breaking through, and they just need that extra mentor to sort of help them. And they need to have that strong mentality. And I think Conte knows the players who have that. Kulu came in, Moura, Bergwijn, and all those guys were already fighting with him for that position. He came in and made it his own. And Moura and Bergwijn are now on bench duty. So we need a player who comes in, takes the bulls by the horn, the reins, and he just goes full in and goes like, I don't care what people have to say about me, but I'm going to prove them wrong. That's the kind of players we need in our team. I've been hearing rumors about people that want to buy the club. Any of that true? I've seen a few reports of that as well, but nothing super official yet. And especially with all the things going on in the world right now, it's a very interesting time in terms of what can happen next. Look at what's gone on with Chelsea and Abramovich, that whole issue. It's been crazy to see. Leo Ball, Pope or Pickford to replace Lloris in the future? I don't know about that. I don't know. Pickford, I think both of them are right around the time of hitting 30. I think we need to bring in a player who's in his mid-20s, to be honest. The issue with Golini, unfortunately, is as the case with most players that you buy from another league, you don't know how they're going to do when they come to the Premier League, which is one of not really up for debate here, but just one of the hardest leagues in the world because of how intense it is and how physical it is. I really do think that we need to go all out for our next goalkeeper. It needs to be someone that is already breaking strides. If it's going to be someone from the French league, it needs to be someone who is making that league his playground. If it's from La Liga, same thing. But, between the two of them, honestly, I think Pope has been very, very decent. He'd be a good team, but would he be good enough to be our number one goalkeeper? That's the issue, right? We're talking about a keeper who might be a backup, maybe. I think we should go all in for Kay Phillips. He's good as well. Yeah, he's decent. Probably Pope all day. Yeah, I think Pickford has his doozies, and as you've seen for England as well. But you know what? Respects to Pickford for saving what he did in the Euros final. Just unfortunate. Mainly, I think it was the English penalty takers. I don't see any new owners being better than Levy. We'd have to be very lucky. It's not best to make rash decisions, which will affect your club for the next few decades. Exactly. That move would be probably it would change everything for better or for worse. So it's just, we need to be very careful. And I think right now Levy is in this position where he is really putting his 2 feet down and going like, okay, let's win something. We're going to do a Conte project and we're going to go all in. But let's see what happens in the summer. That's going to really decide what if he really does mean that or if he changes his mind. And if he changes his mind, Levy, man, don't own a football club if you're not willing to commit to a project here, because you're hurting. You're not just to save your wallet. You're hurting millions and millions of fans, and you're charging them completely so expensive rates just to watch a team that is not really up to par, up to the standard that we want, because you want to save a few bucks. For a goalkeeper, we could also go for Dean Henderson. That could be a decent guy. I know that he's been fighting for his place with De Gea, and he's had a few blunders, but I think under the right management, he could do well. But we'll all of those things I think will be up for much debate as we get closer to the transfer window, which is actually not too far now. As you know, life goes on really, really fast, and next thing you know, we'll be done the season. We'll figure out a plan from there. But I think that no matter what place we stand in, by the time we get to the end, we need to stay strong. We need to stay together, and we need to continue to just back Conte, show him the support he needs, show him that he's loved at this club, show him that we're willing to wait and to trust the process. Because if we are going to doubt Conte, then we've lost the plot. Conte is considered one of the best managers in the world, and I personally think that we're lucky to have him at our club, especially in the state we're in. I was in disbelief for a few days when he signed. I was like, how did we actually have Conte? Like it's just, I couldn't believe it. So yeah, I think that's good enough in terms of today. I hope that my positivity has helped you guys. And of course, you guys, thank you for coming in. And you guys have really helped me just calm down from this crazy game that, unfortunately, if depending on who you are and the patterns you saw, you might have seen coming. But we move on to the next match, and we'll go from there, one game at a time. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And remember, come on, you Spurs.